together, I'm going to get the gimbal set up. So I have the gimbal here. Just turn it on and put the phone in the top slider section there. I'm currently using the Shure mic in the phone as well, so it's got the wind muffler on it too, so hopefully the sound won't be anyway muffled from the wind. It's quite a calm day today. So right now I'm using the gimbal and it is nice and steady on a flat surface. Not that that matters, but I can be holding my hand. As you can see, it keeps a nice even level. And I'm on choppy enough waters now. They've picked up a little bit, so I'm keeping it quite steady. What you take into note when you're actually recording on your iPhone or your Android is make sure you have the best quality settings on the camera. And those settings will be 4K at 60 frames per second. Maybe the most optimal settings that you want to keep. They're quite large file size, so keep that in mind. So if you are taking video footage in your iPhone, on your iPhone or your Android phone, you want to make sure that you have enough space in order to do so. So now I'm in sport mode. So on the phone means that you hold down the trigger, on the gimbal should I say, means that you hold down the trigger and you can start to pan effortlessly like this, and it will stay in the same spot that you're aiming at. So if I leave go of the trigger, it'll then start to pan wherever else I want to go. So let's just say we're looking at that boat there. It could be a whale. So what we'll do is we'll just press the trigger, and it doesn't matter where our boat goes. I move my arm now, the camera is actually following that item that I've locked in place. So as we're moving in relation to the item that we're looking at, the camera will actually rotate and keep on focus in that spot that we clicked on. So that's called sport mode. It's excellent for any fast movements and things like that. So I'll just let go, and as you can see, as I let go then it becomes free again. The next thing you want to do then on the gimbal is, if you wanted to stop your video and you wanted to go into the story format, you press the M on the keypad twice and that flips it. So the M flips your camera into story mode. You also have the option to capture on the Osmo itself by pressing the red button, which has got the camera icon above it. So press that just to take a picture. So I'll just go back into pan around. I like that ship there. I'm going to press the trigger, check it out. Now, this is actually a great example of things to watch out for when you're actually filming on the sea. There's a lot of glare coming into the ocean from the sun because we're facing directly into it. It's about 1:30 in the morning, so it's coming up high. And as you can see, the items are quite dark and it's not optimal for getting the best results. So you want to make sure that the sun is at your back as much as possible when filming. You might be at an angle like this just from all the movement, and you're wondering, how do I get my gimbal back to a normal level angle? Well, what you do is you double tap trigger and it will bring it back perfectly level, like so. On the gimbal there's a little gyroscope joystick, and what you can do there is you can actually rotate and pan the gimbal at your own leisure. So you can do nice rotations and really get a cinematic feel, like so. And it will rotate 180 degrees, and you can rotate all the way back as well, like so. The speed of this can be changed in the actual menu settings on your device. If you go into your DJI app that I've already shown, you can go in and change the settings there. In the DJI app, it also comes with a zoom feature, so you can use the zoom handle on the left hand side of the Osmo, zoom in and zoom out on subjects. And while you have the trigger held down as well, it also can keep the objects nice and steady. One of the best things about the DJI you can do is you can actually track an object and let the camera do the work for you in case you're in motion. So for example, if I select this boat here, I can literally select it with my finger, drag over it, and what it does is a little box goes around the boat and says that that's the main point of focus. So if I move my gimbal around anywhere now, it stays in focus. This is great for capturing certain types of angles and fast moving objects as well. It's also great for talking into the camera as well. So for example, you can turn it on yourself and track your own head position. So for example, I've just selected my head, and whatever way I move, the camera moves with me like that. So that's great for demonstration videos, explaining how things work and things like that. So give that a try. The next piece of art is the Sony HD Handycam. It comes in HD format. You can also get a 4K format, which is a lot more expensive, but we find that this is a great sub camera if you need to do things like have long periods of filming, or you just want another camera setup that you can use in tandem with your main iPhone or Android. It's got an excellent zoom level on it, and it's got a reversible viewfinder, so it's great to be able to film dual shots. So like what I'm doing now at the moment is just filming around the bay here, and it's relatively steady as well because of the grip feature here. This could be a very good one as well for, you know, getting into certain angles that you might not want to put the DJI in specifically. So yeah, check out the Sony HD Handycam. And lastly, we have the flexible monopod, which is a handy little device that's very cheap, affordable, and it can come in handy for just getting into those awkward to reach places. With the grip that it has to hold onto certain areas, you can then grip your iPhone or Android into this area here, and you know, you can maybe get some good angled shots of what you need to capture. And also it's very good for, say, demonstration videos. You know, if you need to have a video overhead, you can hang it from the ceiling, things like that. So for the price, it's well worth giving a go. So next we enter stories. The story format should be something that you use as much as possible when out and about on the boat. People would like to see live updates. People would like to see reels and stories done ad hoc, and this is where you don't have to worry about too much production value when it comes to this format. It's always going to be in 16:9 portrait is the format that I'm in. So when you're doing your stories or when you're doing your reels, just bear in mind again the lighting. Make sure the sunlight is behind you if it's bright sunlight, so there's not too much glare. Try to get as much as the action in as possible. You can actually do some stories in the DJI app as well, so you can go that way, or you can go directly through Instagram. I recommend going through Instagram because, to be honest with you, it gives you a good variety of things you can just do on the fly, such as add text to your stories on the fly. You don't have to go from app to app. But if you want to enter into selfie mode, then you just hit the switch on the camera. So when you're doing your stories as well, you can switch the camera and go into selfie mode, and you can try and get as much of these as possible if you want to bring yourself onto camera and make it a lot more personal as well. If you're doing it within the DJI app, don't forget you can actually select your face like I'm doing here, and that way then the camera will follow you around as you pan around, and you should have no issues there. This is great if there's no one else to take the footage of you, and it really gives a good sense of where you're at. A good tip when you're in Instagram and you're doing a story is to go to hands-free mode, and then when you're in hands-free mode like this, you're freedom to chat away, tell your story, and to back cameras, etc. And you don't have to worry about holding down the button at all. You can just leave it be recording as it is here now. When filming on your iPhone or your Samsung, you can use the grid to film in the real, so that way then you'll get all your subject matters in the right area on your camera frame. So for example, the boat here is nice and central, but I can bring it up into the top left hand corner as well and have it within that area. The following footage I'm taking with the Handycam, and it's quite steady enough actually. You zoom into the lighthouse there, you see the versatility we have. It's great for a traditional sense of shooting footage. So the level of zoom on the HD Handycam is actually pretty impressive. as you get in close. Shake a bit more though, but it's pretty close. As you can see, if you're on something pretty steady, you'll be able to see a good bit of detail. So I'll zoom back out there now. That's about 500 meters away, I'd say, maybe a bit less.